We visited a multi-million-pound development site recently. We started our journey by heading from Swansea, going to Kidderminster to meet a good friend of mine, Mr. Andrew Carter, who is the chief exec of Kingsmen Property. We had a look around the high-quality development site, which comprises of two two-bedroom bungalows and 6 three-bedroom semi-detached houses.
Andrew.
Dorian, how are we doing?
Pleasure. Good to see you.
Well?
Yes, very well. Very well.
Man. Long time no see.
Yeah, no, it's been a few years, hasn't it? But good to see that you're still very active. So,
been a while.
What's this site then?
So this is 8 units,
Okay.
6 3-bed semis, 2 chalet bungalow style.
All right, nice.
Lift inside for access upstairs.
Yeah.
Local community housing. It's been a time to get to this stage.
Yeah.
Acquisition back of the site, but it's all good. It's all good.
What was it before then? Because it looks like some form of like fire engine thing.
No. Close, ambulance station.
Ambulance, right.
So it was a live ambulance station just before COVID.
Okay.
Then made redundant. Then they wanted it back to distribute COVID face masks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we acquired it during COVID. We got planning in principle at that time, which was perfect. And then we was going through technical detail, and now we're just getting full planning with an amended scheme.
So on this then, so if we take a walk up here, so this is a typical brownfield site, previous developed before, full of tarmac. So the scheme that you're proposing to build here, that's now got planning, you said, is it?
It's literally in for full planning with all the new BNG, all the new rigs that are required, SUDs, etc.
Yeah, and that's the scheme over there.
That's the scheme.
Okay, and you're fully surrounded by residential here as well, aren't you?
Yep.
So I can see literally we're backing onto windows. Have you had much complaints from the neighbours for this?
No, with the actual amended scheme, by us dropping these 2 units here to some chalet bungalows, we've now got positive engagement from the residents here because they're of a lower ridge height, so they're fully endorsed. And then we had some people over the back end that own these lovely Victoria houses. They were concerned about the 2 semis here, but actually as a result in speak to them and the new stuff with biodiversity net gain, we've explained to them, because they've got a lovely garden with carp in there and etc. And we say we want to enhance your garden, and because of BNG we've got to put positive impact on the site. So they were like over the moon with the fact that we weren't a developer that was over-developing, maximum number of units and no consideration to the locals.
So if you were like to look at this site as a developer and you've seen all the neighbours around and windows back onto the site and stuff, did you engage with the neighbours prior, or did you just know out of planning policy that you could develop on here, so you just secure the site first and then dealt with neighbours during the design process after pre-app or something?
Well, twofold there. Our ethos is not to overdevelop.
Right.
We like a considered development. We like it to fit in with the local area, whether that's bricks, tiles, roofs, and the demographics of the people in the area. But also, when you look at this site, it was already earmarked, as you said, as brownfield. It was up to a maximum number of 12 units.
Okay.
So we
and that was already identified by the local authority?
Already done.
Okay.
So we knew a constraint. We had a constraint. So as long as we kept below that, then we were quite comfortable in the fact that we could deliver it. We had architects design flats, terraces all along here and stuff like that. It wasn't for us. The way we've got it is 4 sets of semis, albeit 2 of them bungalows now.
Okay.
And they've got lovely garden spaces of 50, 60 square metres. They're going to have bifolds on the back. They can influence the internal design as well. So that's kind of our USP going forward.
Because this is for private development, right?
Private,
100% private.
100% private.
So no affordable on site.
Not on this one, no.
Okay, and you're going to be marketing these. Do you try to get off-plan sales in so they can help customise the internals? Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if people want to come here and it's going to be constructed in such that it's open plan on the ground floor, if they want to influence where that dividing wall is between the kitchen and the dining room, living room, or not have one, they can do that.
Okay.
Same as kitchens, they'll be able to choose from 4 or 5 ranges of kitchen from the local supplier. Same as tiles and stuff. As long as
Howdens?
Porcelanosa.
Okay. Nice. So you will get involved because a lot of developers won't, because they don't want that extra kind of complexity. But I suppose if it helps your sales rate and get them involved and get them bought in, then that's a good thing.
I think if you can market it in such that people can influence, it always becomes a little self-build for them. They can choose the tile, they can choose the kitchen door, the worktop. It's their spec then. The simple things like putting bifolds on the semi-detached houses, people walk in will go, I've got a set of bifolds, I haven't just got a standard window.
Yeah.
The kids can go out into the garden and play. So we look at that whole sort of 360 for a family ethos. How can they connect their grown family that enables them to grow as a family long term as well?
For you to build this, then, do you build yourself or do you use a main contractor?
No, we build ourselves.
You build yourselves. So I'm
This
guessing you have a
grey hair,
background then in
this
building,
grey
you know?
hair is construction. You know
Is
that,
it?
Dorian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the benefit of the audience, then, very briefly, what did you do prior to development?
So probably my latter, most pertinent with Thomas Vale Construction, who's a local contractor down here in Kidderminster. So I was ops director for housing and regen.
All right.
So new build and regeneration. This is like bread and butter for me.
Yeah.
So we will do management contracting. So we'll have a site stroke project manager on here, permanent. Health and safety consultants, usual stuff, warranties, QSs, and that will be the management team.
Yeah.
And we'll elemental delivery on this. So we've already broken down and procured that.
So you're going to put a site manager on here, you're going to split down the trades and you're going to manage it and maybe order some materials yourself or put it in the subcontractor's package. Okay, fair enough.
So we'll have nominated suppliers and we'll use that as provisional sums, expend
Great.
those. Standard stuff I'm sure you guys do as well.
So for this development then here, how long do you reckon it would take to build?
So we're benchmarking at 8-9 months to build.
Right.
And
how long does it take to get planted?
That's the dark art. Who knows with Labour? Maybe we'll get rubber stamped in a few weeks now. But we had a pit before. Originally it was identified 12 units. We're doing 8, so we're under the cusp. We're doing it such that it's incentivised the local community, and we're not overdeveloping. And we already went through part of the technical detail before, but since then the local plan has changed, so we've had to do some more criteria and satisfy that. We've already done ground investigation. We've already done a lot of stuff here ready.
Yeah, good.
So
what's the foundation type's going to be here?
Just com strip.
Is it right? So looking at the building, I'm guessing you've done some, testing for contamination. Have you got anything on you need to remediate?
Just asbestos.
It's asbestos.
We've got asbestos internally in some office space at the far end. The rest of it is just open concrete.
Okay.
There is then, because part of the ambulance station had its own maintenance and fuelling and jet washing facility, so there is a tank over here.
So that's what that was used for, is it?
Yeah, it was jet washing, it was maintenance and everything. So fully maintained. I think there's about 12 ambulances here at one point.
All right.
So we've got to remove the tank. We've already tested for that.
Yeah.
No spillage, nothing adverse. So we've got to get rid of it, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's it.
So what's been the biggest challenge so far on this site then?
The biggest challenge here has been the reacquisition of the site.
Explain what reacquisition. What does that mean?
So we've now purchased it for the second time.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
So that was down to a fundamental business partner issue.
Right.
So the business partner, who I obviously won't name, has a history of doing this. I didn't know this at the time. We were looking at another project.
Okay.
He took some money out of accounts, which was private investor funds. We've had a battle for 2 years to get that back. And in that, the private investor then pulled in a receiver, and then we managed to buy the site back from the receivers.
Right.
So yeah, it's been a long process.
That's stressful.
So, very stressful. A lot of learning, which I didn't really want to learn about. My ethos is very open and transparent, and a lot of open book contracts. My background, my parents have always been of the same sort of principles. So for us, it was a shock to have to respond in that way. But yeah, I'll write the book at one point soon.
Well,
how not to have a JV partner.
I was going to say, because obviously one of the most common pitfalls for anybody getting into property development is that they can't do it by themselves. So they have this business is all about people. You need funders. You need JV partners. If you don't have construction experience, for your first one, you probably will need to partner up with someone experienced on that. Collaborative or creative structures with a landowner or your professional team. Everything is about people, relationships, and trusting them to do things. What else would you say? Like if this was a first-time private developer looking at this, what else would you class as one of the biggest risks that they should consider on a site like this?
Two big planning is obviously a huge risk. We partner with Jonathan McDermott at TPX. Okay. We do a mastermind with him. My son's involved in that, who's 20. That learning to understand the planning process and what you can and can't do in repurposing a brownfield site or a building or what have you is key.
And that is actually fundamental, because when I walk in now, the first thing I'm seeing is I'm seeing all these houses with windows overlooking.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the access for the road. Obviously, I know it's had a previous use gas, but straight away, the brain is picking up constraints.
Yeah.
And other sites are going to have all different types of constraints.
Yeah.
I can see trees there. If you've not got any experience in that before, and you make an offer on a site, and there's a big constraint there that you don't yet know, it's going to cause you a problem.
Yeah.
You lose time and money.
Yeah, which ultimately comes down to the planning. You know, if you don't know, you've got to be a certain distance from adjoining windows, a certain alignment. If you don't know all that, you will over-edge your offer based upon a GDV or an aspiration and number of units. And then obviously the biggest next concern is build cost. Fortunately, we have that in-house. You know, my old estimator from previous actually works me still now as a consultant.
Right, okay.
So, we're building here at very good rate per square metre.
Is it?
Very good.
I love how you hesitated saying what that was then. You was about to say what
I can tell you, it's not a problem.
Just off camera, is it?
No. So we're doing here, it's just above 1450 a square metre.
Really?
Including the prelim book.
Really?
Yeah.
That is a good rate.
But obviously we're elementally delivering. So our prelim book probably runs about 11-12%.
Right, okay, yeah.
Site management team, etc. Professionals, and then
a lot of developers forget about prelims. When they do the development appraisal, all the templates I've seen out there do not have prelims on there.
Well, a lot of prelim books,
they have build costs.
My prelim book's probably about 7 pages long, whereas a newbie developer would probably just think, well, I'll manage it myself, but you've got to be there.
They won't have prelims on there.
So
they forget about welfare, they forget about running costs, insurances, they forget about permits, management or labour even, or telehandler drivers. Or
my whole approach to this, and I dare say is undoubtedly yours, is I do not want to be here every day of the week. I want to maybe be here 1 day a week at the beginning.
You won't be able to do any more deals otherwise.
No. We've got 3 sites that'll be running concurrently now. So I have to section my time in such that I can still be there to support when there's a problem. But by good mobilisation, good planning at the beginning, the team will deliver it. And I'll just manage the exceptions, the problem, the what ifs. That's always been my ethos, is hands off.
Makes sense.
But always there when you need.
Good. So I'd take a walk by you.
Sure.
So I want to have a look at this. So I'm guessing one of the reasons why you put bungalows on here was because of potential overlooking issues. Was it in the gardens?
Yeah.
So the road's going to come right to the end of this boundary then, is it? We're going to have. Is that how I'm looking at it?
So we're here at the moment. Roughly. So we're about here. So the hammerhead is centred to the site here. So that's right and left. So we've switched the semis by way of orientation, just to fit the site better. And also then there's no overlooking windows that way, because that's their outlook, which is trees. They can look that way, that's fine. And this is a raised site. Good sized gardens. Very good.
And what energy efficiency rating would you be looking to build to on here?
So, well,
do you look at that?
We do. So we're targeted with a consultant to get to AB.
Is it right? Okay. So they will end up being PV on here. It's just not shown.
Yeah. I mean, this is the schematic, the base plan for planning.
Our designers always forget to put PV on the road, even through planning. The amount of times we've had to NMA afterwards. To put a non-material amendment to put PV back on when we need it.
No, and we've got a drainage scheme, we have a SUD scheme, all the BNG stuff is designed as to what implementation we'll have. So the BNG in England is you have to give a minimum of 10%.
Okay, 10%.
So because obviously it's all tarmac. So it's an easy win for us.
You would think it's an easy win, but in Wales it's very difficult.
Well, here just by putting the grass in and just some basic, we got up to 46%.
All right, wow, excellent,
And we haven't really added anything other than lawn.
What about surface water? Do you have to deal with surface water on the site?
Yeah, so surface water will come to individual SUD systems per unit. We're looking at individual soakaways to the rear gardens.
All right, okay.
So it doesn't impact, because it's a concern, because it's a bit of a main road.
Yes.
So it doesn't impact the old drainage system. But then we've then got a secondary SUD system before exit, and then water falling to the main system.
Okay. Is it like capturing into a concrete chamber?
Waving we're using.
Yeah, fine. And in the road, is the road going to be adopted, or is it going to remain private?
No, remain private.
Remain private. So you're going to put like a management company in place for this then, is it?
So the estate will have that.
The estate will have it.
So it'll be a sort of...
And it's going to be called Foley Park, is it?
Yeah, we picked it up. The local area's got a lovely park down the road. There's a chip shop named after an Irish family, Foley's.
Foley, right.
So it's synonymous with the area. So that's where we picked it up from.
Oh, nice. Well, it's good. As good as from the thought. See, is that retaining wall?
So that is retaining wall. So on the back edge, it's an elevator position.
Right.
So
I
it
see
steps
the
up.
building behind is stepped up, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all private bungalows up there, and the road at Chestnut drives up.
Yeah.
So we're just doing that as a secondary. There is a fence line there already.
Because is it already a main retaining structure around the side?
Yeah, that's already done.
And it's been checked, like it's
All sound.
Oh, good.
All sound. So it's more aesthetics really,
Yeah.
because it does raise up probably about a good sort of 1.2 to 1.5.
Yeah. You can level the garden a bit rather than having a slope.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Lovely. Okay. And then how would you see the construction methodology for this? Masonry or timber?
As much as I've got grey hair, I want to go timber.
You do, yeah.
So your age, when I was 25, I was working for a Swedish company, a timber frame company.
Yeah.
And what they delivered then is only just probably really been embraced now in the UK.
Yeah.
So I would have go timber frame on this.
Okay.
I think modern methods of construction are the way forward. We're still building trad.
Yeah.
We're still building bricks and blocks, and the quality's not there.
Very carbon intensive as well.
Yeah, massively. So we can get the footprint of each of these plots done very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And to have a timber frame construction brought in,
Especially with strip footings, you'll get them in no time.
yeah, piece of cake.
Yeah.
And the guys we're using are working for main contractors in the area for the civils. So and the way that they work, their work ethic is perfect.
Yeah.
So that's the way we want to go with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you said that you're doing 3 sites simultaneously at the moment. You've probably got a pipeline as well behind that. One of the biggest things for developers who want to do a project like this and more is financing.
Yeah.
How, if you don't mind me asking, how is this project financed? How your financing strategy, and any advice on, if you did it again, how would you improve that?
So on purchase one, it was our own private funds with said business partner.
Yeah.
Second time around, we got a private investor.
Okay.
He's got his own portfolio. He's an excellent guy.
Yeah.
Works with his own son as well. He bought into the ethos of our company.
Okay.
So
that's really important.
Yeah, it's the people connection. His name's Andrew. I'm an Andrew. It's on a personal level, we get on well.
Was wrong, blame Andrew.
Yeah, who's Andrew?
That was Andrew.
He loves his cars. He's local. All these little sort of commonalities.
Yeah.
He's also been burnt by private developers.
Right. Yeah.
So
just common as well.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
he's learned from that, and he's passed that on to me and said, "I want it done this way."
Yeah, okay.
So it's a sort of collaborative sort of investment. Private investors are key, particularly for purchase.
Yeah.
You can go down a finance route, but it's quite expensive and very laborious.
Yeah.
The private investor route for the purchase is my preferred course of action, or family office and that.
Yeah.
But then development finance for the build,
Yeah.
we're finding now there's a lot of people coming to us saying we want to invest in you, we want to give you the investment.
That's good.
Because of my background, my CV, the numbers stack,
Yeah.
the margin stack, the sort of procurement, everything stacks in a nice, neat, ready to go project.
Good. So you buy the site, you fund the site with private investment, and then you get dev finance for the rest of the build.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Nice, clean cut. And then your pipeline. How do you? Because the other thing to build a pipeline line, because as you've said, it's taken, call it 2 years to get from offer accepted to being able to start on site because of all the permissions you need to do.
Yeah.
Then you've got a 9-month build. But obviously, development finance will kick in at that point.
Yeah.
If you wanted to build a pipe, if you just did one deal after the other, you would be doing 3 deals a decade.
Yeah, and I'm getting older.
So the only way to streamline that is to build that pipeline.
Yeah.
How do you fund that pipeline building? Because obviously we've struggled with that, because the only way we can do it with working capital, isn't it, or a business partner?
It is.
A secret?
No real secret. Fortunately, we've got another business that helps us fund that.
So you've got a trading business along the side?
Yeah, so we've got other activity. I also do a bit of consultancy work for local authority.
Okay.
They want to create their own pipeline and deliver that.
Yeah.
So I help with that.
Okay.
So that means that I'm then not drawing on funds that are in projects until the end.
So how important do you reckon that would be for, because I always say this if I have my time again in this, having a cash flowing trading business?
Yeah. Massive.
How important is that for the success of the developer?
Massive, because you haven't then got to really worry about the sort of the working week and your mortgage at the end and your normal full bills.
It doesn't really matter if that takes another month for you, really,
does
it?
Not massively. Yeah, you're going to get some interest on development finance or something, but you should have that factored in. You should have a buffer.
Yeah.
Everything that we've got here, we're getting figures back for 12 to 15 months.
Okay.
We won't need that, but we need to consider it. It's the risk analysis.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, having something as a side hustle is massively important. You know, Harvey, my son, works with me, and he will do sourcing for other people as well.
Okay.
So that's really important for him.
Yeah. So you're building that cash flow to service the needs of the ongoing operations, pipeline, salaries.
It doesn't drain the project.
When a project does come off, the money it makes is the cherry on top, and hopefully it's a big cherry as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Lovely.
I'll give you the numbers, not a problem.
Yeah, you happy to?
Yeah.
So tell us then, the numbers would be great, yeah.
So this has a GDV of just shy of 2.3 mil.
Okay.
Our build cost with Prelims is about 1.1 million.
Okay, well, okay. So, and the land?
Land was 470.
Okay, yeah.
So then our gross profit pre-development finance costs is around 660, 670.
660, 670. That's a healthy margin on
it's
a
29, 30%.
Yeah, that's. And what's your target? For like, if you were to appraise a site, what minimum margin do you look for?
Minimum of 30%.
Minimum 30% pre-finance.
Yeah.
Minimum pre.
Yeah, we always work on that benchmark, but then because of my background with construction, I then look at the what ifs, the demolition costs, the remediation costs, all those things that people need to consider. So. Yeah. We'd rather be risk averse to that. We also look at GDVs. We never go top heavy.
So that GDV here, you wouldn't class that as top heavy for the area?
No.
So you think there's actually more,
with
when you get there, a bit of appreciation, and also just the fact that you've not overcooked it?
Massively, because if I have to explain to an investor that we're going top heavy on GDV, that's risk to them straight away. They should identify that in their due diligence. Yeah. So backed up with good detailed figures on the build cost is also then what they want to see. Okay. So the margins for us are relatively comfortable without maybe the unforeseen, but we've got contingency in for everything. Yeah. Even on here, there's a petrol tank over the other side. That's contingencies in. Okay. And we know we're well in with that already because we've already done investigation works. So
to win the confidence of your investor, you've taken the local sale prices in the area, cross-reference the size of them, etc., against what you're building to show you're not top heavy for these. So there's your GDV, safeguarded GDV. You've taken the build cost, you've splitting it down elemental to show that everything's factored in, and with a contingency on it as well, and abnormals listed out, and with and your prelims as well, and professionals. So you've got that shown. Finance costs based on the development, because assuming the land is the equity bit that needs to be put in, you can calculate that fairly easy, especially with when you're factoring over a 12 to 15 month rather than a 9-month build. So that's got contingency.
Yeah, I mean, in addition to their finance, we also do a straight line analysis. We don't do waterfall.
Oh, okay,
so we're top heavy there.
Do you drop the rate for the straight line, or do you use the actual rate?
We use the actual rate straight line.
Ah, right. So there's contingency in that.
By the time you look at that, you might save on the waterfall effect on drawdowns by month. Yeah. But actually, when you look at the adding costs like sort of entry, exit fees, all those kind of things, it's not a million miles off. Yeah. So if
they're quoting a 10% dev finance rate,
it's straight line for the term.
Straight line.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. That's
sounds very simple, but we've done the analysis.
Well, it's prudent, that is, because as you know, with the waterfall effect, that 10% rate actually does drop, but then you have obviously the fees. So you
would know, whichever site, whichever it is, if you get less activity in the month and you've already drawn down 50% of your build cost, you're still paying the interest rate on the full term.
And if you can get good payment terms from your supply chain, that will help you as well.
Yeah. So we're always minimum 28 days. We aim for 56. So, and actually, if some are smaller, we'll incentivise them. Yeah. And we'll pay them maybe slightly quicker as long as they give main contractors discount back, etc. Usual stuff.
Yeah, usual stuff. Well, your experience shines through, so I really look forward to coming back when this is finished. And
spring, summer 2025.
There we are. All right, awesome. Thank you, mate.
Thanks, mate. Yeah. Thank you.